Last week, somebody asked me what the black dot was for. So who can answer me and remind us what the black dot's for? And it's going out there.
Peripheral vision.
Hey, fantastic, peripheral vision. Now, what's the benefit?
Did you hear that?
So, what's the benefit of being in peripheral vision?
Because you can see what's going on around, and as well as what's in front, you know what's going on at the side.
So you see what's going on around as well as at the front. So you've got a greater sort of sense of awareness of vision. What else did people pick up?
Concentrate on what the person in front of you is saying or doing, or
okay, so
because it forces you to not let yourself get distracted because you're concentrating on something else.
Okay, so
in your peripheral vision.
So it allows you to have that focus outside of yourself. It allows you to be more aware of what's going on in front of you and around you. Have I got that right? Okay. Was there anything else that came out of being able to be in that peripheral vision rather than that narrow?
Stops the you talk, you speak, self-talk.
Thank you. It reduces, quietens down that self-talk. Now, I'm just wondering, are those the answers that, okay, I said this last week, so we can tick those off, or are those people's experiences from last week, that when you go into that peripheral vision, you're aware of more, that you can focus on the person in front of you, that those internal voices, that internal dialogue, just goes quieter, and maybe for some people even stops completely. Was that people's experience last week?
To be honest, I haven't noticed. I didn't think about it.
No, did you think about it at the time when we had a go at this last week? Can you remember?
Yeah, no, I can remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you think back to that experience?
Yeah, no, it did go quieter, but then I've got lots of things going on in my head at the moment, so it's not going to go completely, I know.
Well, it's not going to go completely yet. Are you in peripheral vision at the moment?
No,
okay.
Well, I'm looking straight at you.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to suggest...
I can see it shaking her head though.
Fantastic.
So maybe I am.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to suggest, and it's entirely up to you, that we have a little go, and that for the rest of the day, if you just keep reminding yourself, black spot, peripheral vision, and spend as much time as you can just getting yourself back into peripheral vision. If you notice that you've slipped out of it, get yourself back in and just see what you're aware of. Now it's just a quick little game. Okay, so just remind yourselves of the process. To pick somewhere slightly above head height. Now you can use the black dot at the front of the room, or if you're looking in a slightly different direction, find somewhere that just stands out, maybe a little mark on the wall. Like I say, there's plenty of them, that you can just begin to focus on, and really focusing on that point. Such that point is the absolute centre of your focus and takes in just about everything. And as you've got that sense of focus, you can begin now just to allow your awareness to spread out slowly to either side of that point, and just wider and wider. Being aware of that spot in the centre of your vision, but becoming more and more aware of what's further and further out to the sides, and moving it at the pace and speed that's right for you, further and further out and around, so you can become aware of as much as you possibly can, all the way around to either side of you, as far around as you can go. Still being able to keep that point of your initial focus. Just be aware of that still, as well as being aware of as much as you can, all the way around. And when you've got that, you can just allow yourself now just to bring your eyes down to eye level, if you like, and just be aware of what's going on.
How is it when you're focused on that? When you say about looking to your peripheral, I can then be still looking at that, but I can focus on what you're doing as well, and shut out all of this, but see that and see you.
Well, that is because, man, you are the pinnacle of evolution. You are here today. You are the result of millions and millions of years of evolution, and you're aware already, aren't you? Because of things you've already done in the last week alone. that you are capable of far more than previously you thought you were. And as you begin to practice with various sort of techniques and ways of thinking and ways of doing things, you can become more and more aware of some of the things that you can do. And just each day surprise yourself by how much more you are capable of. And as you learn that and you become aware of it, you can experiment with it and play with it and just see what you can use it for. And my sense is that as you play with this during the course of this morning and on into other areas of what we're going to do, and in the days and weeks that follow, you'll find this to be a really, really useful technique in all sorts of ways. All sorts of ways. Whether it's enabling Jackie, as you're saying, we've noticed since last week, that there is that, that the ability that's always been there, but maybe being more aware of it, to step back in situations, to give yourself maybe a little bit of space, my words, but a little bit of breathing space before you kind of launch into situations.
My words.
Well, they are words, because I don't want to, they're not necessarily the precise words that you said, and I recognise that could, sometimes if I use different words you would use, that might jar. And yet,
more aware.
Okay, more aware. Okay, so being more aware means you've got more choice, and you'll have the same, okay, in all sorts of ways. Now, I just want to have a little play, just to see how this might be useful, and see how much more you can be aware of. Need someone just to pop themselves into that chair. That foot goes back, it ain't going to be me. I ain't no way you're getting me out of this chair. And literally, all you have to do when you sit here is have yourself in peripheral vision. We're going to see how much more you can notice.
Go on, Mike. Go on, Mike. Go on, Mike.
I'm struggling with peripheral vision.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're struggling. That's fine. And it can just be something that maybe takes a little bit more practice. In what sense are you struggling with the peripheral vision?
I'm not noticing any improvement.
Okay.
The way you talk through it suggests to me that I should be experiencing an improvement in my peripheral vision, but I'm not.
So what is it that you are experiencing?
No change at all.
Okay, no change from what? Could you just let me know what
from what I had before. You know, my peripheral vision, my awareness of what's on either side of me is not improved through the process that you've talked us through.
Okay, it may be something that, and again, you'll find for you what works and what doesn't. As I said right at the very beginning of like the first day, and I'll undoubtedly repeat again more than just what I'm about to now, is that whatever we do, you'll make sense of it in your own way, and you'll take it or you'll leave it. And it might well be that you think, okay, do you know what, David, that sounds interesting at an intellectual level, but doesn't really quite make sense to me. I can't quite get that. I'll leave that.
I get the idea that if you focus peripherally on that black dot when I'm talking to Stacey, that I'll block out the internal dialogue,
okay,
and I'll therefore be able to focus and concentrate more on what she's saying to me.
Okay.
I get that, but I'm just not getting the benefit of seeing more or being aware of more when you're talking us through that process.
Okay. That's fine. We'll have a play in it and we'll just see. In terms of quietening down the internal dialogue, have you noticed some change in that?
What, over the last week?
Well, in terms of even when we just practice.
Certainly, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so is that something that might be
It's
useful
shut up, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a way of just sort of damping it down, isn't it?
Okay, and there will be circumstances in terms of what you do that at times that might be useful to do. Okay, so even at this level of not yet being aware of that wider awareness, if you like, that wider visual awareness, that the ability that you're aware that you have and that you can use more and more of being able to quieten that internal dialogue right down is something that's going to be useful and that you might already have used and you can continue to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it might be a brilliant opportunity just to see how this, just see it, just to play. What I'm going to do is we'll go through the process of talking you through the peripheral vision. Oh, you might not want me to talk you through because you've done it a couple of times. You might think, okay, David, I'll just do that for myself. And I'm going to go and sit in your chair. And then what we're going to do, when you just tell us that you're ready, okay, I've got, as far as you understand it at the moment, I'm in peripheral vision. Okay, it might be that you've got, you know, when you bring your eyes down, you've got between Holly and Jackie.
Lucky boy.
He is a lucky person. In the middle of your vision, okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sit in these chairs. clearly you already sat there, I'm going to sit in that chair. And then, to begin with, I'm just going to ask people just to make some fairly big gestures. So we've got one there, okay, just moving in the chair. And Mike, as he sits here, this will say, Julie moves in a chair. And then you might see, actually, we've got Lisa fiddling with her fingers and just right there, and you're doing the same there. I've got the hands moving up and down the sleeves there. You're starting to see how much you can notice. Okay, and we start with some fairly generous, maybe fairly big gestures. So I might, like I do, play with my hand, and it'll be fairly big and potentially fairly obvious. We'll see. Just see how much Mike notices, and then as we go through, we might just see if we could just make slightly smaller movements and see how much you can pick up.
I'm seeing people blinking.
You see people blinking? Okay. Well, my sense, I'll leave that for you to judge.
Just nodded her head down.
Okay, he's doing this already. I'll stay here.
David's getting up and down. Jackie's just moved her hair. Julie's just moved her hair. Stacey's just wiped her nose or something like that. Jackie's twiddling with her foot. Carolyn's just looked over and looked back and adjusted her pen and pad. Lisa's just looked at Carolyn. Holly's stroking her arm. Stacey's lifted her hand up to her face. Jackie's slightly turned her head. Carolyn's doing the hair thing.
Okay. We'll just stop there. So how was that?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
but the fact that I can see people blink.
That's pretty powerful stuff. Yeah. And it may be, and I need you to test that maybe that visual awareness is slightly more enhanced than perhaps you thought it was. I don't know. And even just with that, and that can grow with practice, perhaps, is that awareness that sensory, or that internal dialogue gets quietened. There's much more awareness about what's going on outside. And basically, I guess, if we're talking to somebody or we're trying to work with somebody, whether that's a student or whether it's a family member, whatever the circumstances, then it pays to have our attention outside. But how am I going to know what impact my communication is having with Jackie or Julie or Michelle if I'm busy in my own head and I'm talking to myself? I've got that dialogue going on, I'm not paying attention to you. And if I'm having a dialogue with somebody, then they are the most important person.